Now I feel like I got to do the whole thing all over again. I got to now because I just
mother of pearl.
yeah, that's on me. That's on me. Yeah. Welcome to the Gray Pill Podcast. As always, you have my wifey Mickey here, as myself and Jealous. Swing.
Swing.
Swing. All right, I just want to show y'all guys since y'all haven't been here. So welcome to the new subscribers. If you already been here, thank you again. Appreciate your support. Click the like, share, and all that good stuff. So we have a reaction video here, or pretty much like a good little conversation piece with Nicki Minaj and Kevin Samuels, which is pretty interesting. I saw around because pretty much like I'm a night owl, so I saw this around like 3 a.m. that he uploaded, and I figured it was pretty cool to check out.
I want to know what you gotta, let's have this real talk. Let's have this real because I know a lot of times when people will speak to you, it's like they trying to be funny.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like if you call somebody trying to be funny, yes, I feel if you call somebody trying to be funny, then don't be mad at what you get. If you call somebody that and you're really trying to sincerely ask questions or get information or chat, then that's different. So I want to talk to you.
Okay. What are we talking about?
Let's do it.
Well, what do you rate me?
Is that what we're starting off with?
Yeah.
Do you think the men rate women?
No, I thought because isn't that what you do?
That's
the number one thing that I have an issue with, because I've seen on the show a lot of women say that or don't see the whole thing and assume that. So I just want to go ahead and, like I said, I'm on Uncle Kev's side on this one. So go ahead.
Carry on. Don't you dare be pausing it like this. Go on.
Yeah, but this just to throw this out there. This is YouTube, so we just can't play this all out like it's a movie and leave.
I understand, but you haven't even played it yet. Come on.
I want these points going too. So Kev, let's
go.
If
you don't play this video, I'm gonna
see my content. Have you just seen like the clips?
Yeah. I think I always see people calling you and you tell them you ain't no such and such. You lying to yourself. You ain't this.
What I typically don't do is I don't typically rate people. I ask if they rate themselves. I usually ask these questions.
So let's start it that way.
Yeah. How tall are you?
I'm 5'3".
Dress size?
My dress size?
Mm-hmm.
Fender Don said, like, my dress size. That's a good question.
These are the normal questions.
I guess a 4.
All right. And on a scale from 1 to 10, you can't use 7. What would you rank yourself? Fresh face out of the shower, just you.
Yeah.
That's how I always ask the question.
Mm-hmm.
7.
Can't use 7. That's why 7 is the most common answer.
Really?
It's a default answer for most people because they don't want to go too high, they don't want to go too low.
Well, no, it ain't a default answer for me.
Well, let's see. I would give you a 9. I would give you a 9 because.
Well, let me ask this. So what would you rate yourself, Mika, or do you rate yourself?
Fresh out the shower. 8 or a 9.
Why? Because the ranking system he's gonna explain. I never heard this, so this is new to me. Because my ranking system is different. How I came up. So why would you rank yourself an 8 or 9?
Physical attributes plus.
All right, you're an X-Men. Okay, cool.
What?
You're an X-Men character. Okay, cool. 8 or 9.
Oh my god.
Physical attributes. All right.
Physical attributes. I think I'm relatively pretty. I think I have a nice body. I don't have fake boobs or butt, which could be a plus or a minus depending on who you are. But my personality wise and how nurturing I am, as well as supportive and what I need in return, I
Mhm.
think is a solid 10, maybe 9.5. As well as reality, I take accountability. Um, I also don't sleep around, so I'm not like a very used model.
Yeah. Fellas, we know
uh,
what that is. Oh yeah, we got you.
I cook, I clean, I'm motivational.
You're not crazy.
Oh, all women are crazy. It's just a level of crazy and how you work with it.
Okay, that's fair. I respect that. I'm gonna go ahead and put myself on the bus and just say a 5, just cause. But I will say this on the scale part, the way I came up, and shout out to my mentor. And guys, you can correct me if I'm wrong because I feel like everybody got a different rating system, but I do the scale of like 10, right? But we're breaking it in half. And
Oh, and I'm great at sex. I forgot about that part.
see again,
Sorry.
I'm not there, so that automatically you don't get a point for that because that guy won't know. So
Right.
just for getting to know you and looks, we go by the looks between 1 and 5, and then
Ah.
the other 5 to 10 is pretty much, hey, how you act, how you carry yourself. So now that becomes like you said, back to the vetting process and trials and tribulations. So
Mhm.
that's how I do it. So let's just say me for you, if I didn't know you, just saw the street on looks, 3 between 1 and 5, I'll give you a 3. I give you a solid 2.5, but I'll just say, hey, let me throw a 3 in there. Depending on what you're wearing, catch me up, go like, damn. You know what I'm saying? And then
Mhm.
on the personality, get to know you or how you carry yourself, or even just like on our last previous podcast, I'll send links and stuff below where we talked about how men approach women and how women react to that. Now, how you react to me approaching you or trying to get your number or whatever, or
Mm.
try to play a game, how you act, then that adds a point or two from there. Now, let's just say I do get your number. If you reject me and it's cool, rejection, cool, no problem. You get a point. You got that 5 or 6 level. If I get to know you a little bit better, I do accept your number, go on a date, and everything's going good, minus the sex. I'm like, hey, she's a solid 7. Now that's over time. So you get the 6 or 7. So now over time, during your character, how you act, how you present yourself, how the conversation going, we throw them little test vettings questions at you. Um, Now after the sex, depending on how good it is, the vibes, everything else, hey, solid 8 9.
Mhm.
That's pretty much how I feel like we scale it from there.
Let's see how they vet. I'm really like
Yeah.
on this video, sir.
You have the facial symmetry, and you get additional points for eyes,
Oh,
full lips. See, it's not. I'm an actual image consultant, and I'm sure you deal with a lot of people who take your pictures and such and so forth. You have a symmetrical face, and so it's much more based upon facial symmetry. It's not based on European beauty standards or anything like that. It's much more based upon what babies, animals, human beings have evolved to find attractive.
wow.
You get
I agree with
additional
that.
points because we have evolved to find more slanted eyes, some are attractive, especially when they're not on Asian.
Wow. Wow.
But that's not what gets translated. Most of the time, people take my clips and cut it down to something that's gonna make a viral moment. It's gonna start a conversation. Take the good with the bad.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Have you seen anything else that I do?
I saw one time when you checked this lady for, I guess it was a white lady or a Hispanic lady, and you was like, oh, you're not gonna come on this show and talk down on Black women. That's what the fuck you're not gonna do.
Mhm.
And so again, that was a clip. I didn't see the context really, but
Well,
Face.
I get a rap of hating Black women. And it's far from that. I mean, there are over 50 Black women who report that they've gotten married as a result of watching my content in the last year.
really,
It's on my Instagram. I actually had a young sister just post up saying, hey, as a result of you, I snatched the ring. I just actually posted a brother who was about to move to the Dominican Republic, and he found his wife in my Facebook group. Like 12 couples have gotten married in there. But that stuff doesn't get publicized. But when I'm talking about relationships, I'm talking about men and women.
Hey, do you agree with that? Because have you heard of him Just the positive side of Kevin Samuels, like, hey, I got, a couple saying, hey, thank you, Kevin Samuels, I got married. Or have you anything on your end about that or no?
Nothing.
Nothing? Oh, wow. That's crazy. That's crazy.
But because I'm black, I'm talking about us.
Mhm.
And time to time, I would bring stuff in, and then a lot of times sisters would say, well, men, when they get to a certain level, they only want white women or this or that. So I let women from other races come in. I'm like, okay, well, can you learn anything from them? What would you teach them? And the one woman came in, and she thought she was going to do what I did to black women. I'm like, hold on, oh wait. Now we can talk this way. Karen, you sit your ass down over there because I don't play.
Facts.
I wouldn't let despite popular opinion. I love my mother, I love my daughter, but we do have to have a family conversation, and it's what's starting to happen more is actually we're starting to have more conversations about this. It ain't comfortable, but we're starting to see progress.
Well, let me ask you this just outright then. Why do successful black men date outside of their race?
Ooh.
Well, I would say this. When I look at men, I split them up. Guys that I consider to be in the industry, music, entertainment, athletics, and then guys on the business side. Business side, because I come from that side. But more often than not, black men want to be with black women. 85% of black men are married to black women.
Oh.
When I had my guys come to me, even after they got themselves together, like Dennis Furling, the guy who just moved, he found his black wife in my group. Black men want to be with them. The problem is, let's be honest, in my lifetime, we weren't really raised to learn how to get along with one another. We can kick it.
True.
We can hook up.
True.
And but can we work together long term? And I mean, you're married now, right? Okay, marriage is.
Why you nod our heads? You just can't say yes?
It's different than dating in short term. We really want to talk that kind of stuff. And what successful people who are doing good in their professional life want to fail in their personal life. And in the black community in particular, when we fail in our personal lives, we pay a huge penalty because so few of us get married. It's almost like we like to see people's marriages fall, but we need more of those things in order to build whatever we're going to be.
All right, what do you think so far?
I want to keep watching because I'm really into what they're saying.
Okay,
you have to understand this is the first time I'm ever seeing this, and it's like I really like they're just now getting into it. I feel like the first few minutes was just like light stuff, but like he's really getting into the system heavy stuff.
Mm-hmm. Especially with the black community side. So I'm glad he actually touched base on that because again, whether we like to hear it or not, it just needs to get added. Whether it's Latinos, whether it's like the black community, whites, black, whoever people got issues with, it just need to be a conversation. So yeah.
Because
I can't see it.
May not like my method, but I want to see more black men who want black wives get with black women. And that's the outcome we're getting. It ain't pretty. Sometimes it ain't pretty.
Can I say something? Real quick? Black women, can we stop talking about if these niggas want us or not? Excuse me, this is not. I'm talking to a black woman real quick. Can we stop posting all day on TikTok? Because I newly went to TikTok and I just kept seeing this. Black women, can we stop talking about if these successful black men want us or not? Like, can we just focus on us and we be successful and then we go out there and we decide who the fuck we want?
Mm-hmm.
Because what I've been seeing is I feel like I've been seeing men using that as an opportunity because they've been hurt and somebody done and they've been using it as a way to come out and lash out and poke fun at black women and use it as a way to feel like they somebody or they something. Or so for all you niggas that's doing that on TikTok, wherever the fuck y'all at, eat a dick, go away. Nobody gives a shit about you. And I want Black women to stop fucking posting about whether or not y'all want Black women or not. Okay? Well, I want Black women just to focus on themselves, be successful, and then you go out there and you decide the trajectory of your life. Okay?
Wow. I'm a stop on that part because I have to respond to that one because speaking from a Black man and growing up, and I dated one sister, and she I say she was the only one, maybe next to my mom, that was like against the Black man dating outside the race, but at the same time, it's like she was low key phony about it, and I didn't understand. At first, I didn't understand. I understood, but it's like I didn't understand. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, and what Nick Minaj said makes a lot of sense. If you come, especially the world we live in now, because a lot of things, I'm not gonna say it's changing because it has been changing. You will get, and I dated everybody. I'm not gonna say everybody close enough that I felt, and and us most guys, we have like little guy conquests or whatever, but that's just a whole typical guy thing till we actually find somebody we can actually get married to, settle down, have a family with. But I never once had my homeboy, whether he's Black or not, we just stick it to the Black. Never had my homeboys like come to me, date a white girl, date a Latino woman, date anything outside his race, and I was happy for him. Hey, if you happy, I'm happy. You like her, I love her. That was just my attitude about it. But I have found a lot of Black women that has attitudes. Like this one in particular I'm talking about, she would just like make comments all the time, and I'm like, okay, cool. I mean, I get it. You and your feelings, I get it. The reactions. She's really not a Kevin Samuels fan. She would take pieces of what he says and just don't put no context to it and just run with it. And I'm like, okay, so let us have a conversation because I'm pretty much saying the same thing at this point where Cardi B said, if you in general, because you really got one life to live, your lifespan is like what, 80s, if anything. So when you get to your 40s, you live in half your life. So that means you dated the same race for 40 years. I'm not making you say, yeah, you gotta date a white person, you gotta date a Mexican, you gotta date a this, that, third. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying if your end game goal, women, especially Black women, if your end game goal is, hey, I want to be happy, I want to find the right man, because that's what I'm hearing. I want to find the right one for me. Look outside that box, because now I feel like low key that becomes colorism. That becomes a little bit of racist on their end, and it's crazy. I like even, and somebody can correct me if I'm wrong in the chats, in the comments, whatever. But I remember I dated this Puerto Rican chick, and she was telling me, and I was like, nah, that can't be true because you're just as Black as us. She came to Florida.
They're
Yeah,
racist too.
yeah, she came to Florida, and she said that the Black woman was upset and hating on her because the shape she had, and because no, just the attention she was getting from Black men, and she wasn't potentially looking for the attention from them. She was going for just anybody that approached her, and it was a whole issue, and that was crazy. But I just want to address that because I agree with her on this one. If you got so much issue, you really lose sleep at night worrying about what somebody else is doing, or what somebody race is doing. You really lose sleep at night. That's the question we
But
should be
that
asking
doesn't have
ourselves.
any, it's not even about that. If you look at those same people, they have issues like that because someone or somewhere at some point was an asshole towards them. Shucks, stop. Sorry, my dog. It's if I'm a Black woman and a white guy raped me when I was 16, hell yeah, I'm gonna have a fucking problem with white race
Yeah,
all the way
yeah.
through my life. And that's the kind of thing that I'm talking about, because it does come from a social injustice of not being able to get some sort of justice of whatever happened to you. So you grow up with that mentality. And I've grown up around all of it. I've got the Hispanic people on my side. Sorry, my dog is like nonstop right now. I've got, like, I'm not gonna lie, like a lot of people in my family are racist, like to the extent of if you ever came home with a Black guy, we would disown you. And so that's how they were raised. That's what they believe. but at the same time, like, I'm going to highlight something that's within the Black community that it's like, how do I say this? I don't even care. It's a lot of people in the Black community say things like, we don't claim mixed guys. We don't claim mixed people. And
Yeah.
it sucks for them because I have a lot of mixed friends, and it's like, it's no joke. Like, I'm going to put it on a real thing where they are struggling internally, not being accepted by either side that they come from. And that's another thing that has to stop. Like, we're at a point where it's 2022. There's been a lot of mixes between races, period. By the time, what is it? I can't remember what year it's supposed to be. I think 2050. White is going to be white is supposed to be the minority. So nobody should be. So no one should be thinking of mix this, mix that. The reality is, you find a good guy over here, a good woman over here. They get together. It works out. Let them fucking be happy. And if you don't like it, then shut up and go find your happiness. But it's understanding where people are coming from and where their hurt comes from, that we're going to get to that solution. Because it's, like I said, it's at some point or another, for the last, 50 years, we've still had racism, prejudice, colorism, sexism, all these things that have still been relevant. It was only 50 years ago, 60 years, 50 years ago that we had the civil rights movement. It was only like 40 years ago that we had the women's rights movement. It wasn't that long ago.
Yeah, it's not that long ago.
So there's still a lot of pain. There's still a lot of hurt. I go to support groups, you could call it.
Yeah.
I don't know how to call them. Anyways, I went to one that was in Compton because they have the really good ones. And this one, my friend, I can name him, my friend Alan invited me, and it was really good, and I kept going back. But one day there was this dude that came up and started talking, and he was in, like, I'm not even joking, a full-on purple suede suit with like cow trim on it, and he's walking up there, and there's only one other white girl and myself in there. I'm not white, but like I look white, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this guy starts talking. The first thing coming out of his mouth is, the white devil is here. No joke. And he starts talking about that, and like 5 black guys were like, okay, you gotta go.
Yeah.
They were like, you got to get the fuck off. We're not dealing with this. We're not promoting this. You got to stop. And me and the girl looked at each other, and she looked scared. I was like, you know what I mean? I'm like, I love danger. So I'm like, and she was just like, oh my God. And I talked to, but that's the difference, is that, like, we are no longer, if this had happened, 20, 30 years ago, maybe they wouldn't have stopped the speaker, but they did stop them because it was out of respect for me. Like, what the hell are you doing? They didn't want to be associated with that. And it's the same thing for everyone else that's not black. I'm going to say everybody else. It's their due diligence. When you see something wrong happening, you have to say it. Like, no other, I live in LA, but the area that I'm in is in the South Bay, right? Something happened, and I noted this to a couple of people. I was like, during the pandemic, it was silent. Obviously, everyone was gone. After the pandemic, I have never seen so many black people in the South Bay, and it was the coolest. For me, it was the coolest thing, because I was like, I'm all about, like, mix the pot, mix it so that we don't have this issue anymore, period, right? But I would go to the store, and I remember one time there was this dude at Rite Aid, and he was getting something, and they gave him the thingy. You know how, like, they have the electronic section? He asked for something. They're like, oh, okay, cool. We'll hold it up at the front for you. And then I'm such an instigator. So I go over and I'm like, I want this. And she's like, oh, okay, just take it to the front. They'll charge you for it. And I was like, how come he didn't have to do that? How come, like, he had to hold it up? And I'm just making a scene because I'm just dramatic.
Yeah.
But it was also during a time where, like, you should, and even the time is still now where you should be seeing these things as a person that is not black. And I'm not saying that there's not racism towards Latinos and Hispanics and Asian American and all this stuff, like 100%. But the ones that were hurt the most, the ones that were really, like, pushed the most to extremes, is the black community. And that's the one that needs the most help, right? That does not mean that the black community gets to stipulate who and when and how their people are going to congregate with or have families with. Mix the pot. Mix it.
Yeah. Yep. And I'm agree with that one too, because even same thing here in Alabama, predominantly been from originally up in Jersey and New York and Philly. So it's like when I don't see that much, I'm like, oh, but if I go in Atlanta, it's like it's all day, every day. But if I see it here, I'm like, cool. Something's happening. Some changing is happening. So but yeah, let's continue.
There's a lot of hurt on both sides. And a lot of, and especially in the Black community, we don't really do a lot of counseling.
You laughed before. You called
just
it?
said.
Yeah, you just called it.
Because we got.
I
a lot
like
of
him
stuff
now. I
individually
hate this.
that we want to deal with. And marriage and relationships are not for everybody. And I'm just trying to, ultimately, I ask people, what do you want? What do you want? And what are you prepared to do to get what you want? And are you willing to pay that cost? It's really the conversation. It always gets kind of whittled down. But at the end of the day, what we are seeing is, especially if you're under 30, it's harder for guys today under 30 than it was from 50 years ago, because you can't take care of a family on out of high school or just coming out. So they're at the bottom. And I just had men's week, and I told guys, look, while you're under 30, work on getting yourself together, because like it or not, you're really not in a position like you should be to be able to work with, lead, do anything like that. And you see the hate, not the hate, but the hurt on both sides, because a lot of times people will use these talking points to go at and poke women over here, but that's not what's going on right now. This year, we're past the sound. I mean, we still laugh, we still do all that stuff. We're talking about self-awareness, and moving the needle. I'm in LA tomorrow talking with a famous sexologist, a womanist, feminist, to talk about things that that people on my side may not understand, to further open the conversation up.
I would love
Because
to
that's
hear
what we have to get to. We got to end up, for whoever want to be involved with whoever, we got to end up having a better conversation, because while we're separate, fighting, everybody else just eats off of us. That's really what it looks like. So, but,
Okay, Kevin.
go
So
ahead.
since we are no, we got to get down to the business chat.
Go ahead.
Now, do you think a man can have sex 3 times a night for the rest of his life?
Oh, good question.
Those guys can't.
They can't.
Not for the rest of his life, no.
Well, how many times they gonna be able to do it?
Depends how much he's working. Depends how much he's working. That's why I say it's different.
But wait, no, listen,
no.
Listen, hold on. How many times should a man expect to have sex? What is, in your opinion, how many times should a woman give their man sex
That's a good question.
a week?
A week?
I already know the answer, but that's a good question.
I'm a fan of the as often as he wants it.
Yes, sir.
No, hold on.
Because here's the thing. Here's the thing. You look at, like I said, I look at guys.
Hold on, why you make that face?
Huh?
Huh? If you can, you can hear. What they say, ladies and gentlemen? If you can, you can hear.
I'm the same reaction she has. It's like, it's a double standard. It's 100% a double standard.
No.
Let me put it this way. If you and I are married, or if you and I are getting whatever it is, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you're paying the bills, you're working, you're paying for me to get my mani-pedi, you're paying for me to get my hair done, you're paying the fucking cook, the cleaner, all this stuff, you're paying to get your laundry done, you're paying for the cars, you're paying for everything. You can have it anytime you want. Absolutely. But the problem is that men seem to think that what we do is not important and not time consuming and not exhausting.
No,
I started.
No. I don't think men's saying that. I think, because first of all, we skip the beat of what he just said. He said, if the man's working 10, 12 hours a day, he come home, and I give example like my schedule, 7 to 7. I'm home. I pretty much, in my mind, working, coming home, I got 30. This is how men think. And guys, correct me if I'm fucking wrong. Especially working guys. When you talking about no high value, whatever guys went, career driven guys, we're talking about like regular guys. If I'm leaving my house, my job, and it's like 30 minutes to drive to home, in the back of my mind, we're already calculating the ending of our day. You feel me? to get back up 5, 6 o'clock in the morning. So I'm driving 30 minutes home. I'm coming to my girl, my fiance, my wife, what have you. And my mind is, if she's home before me, it shouldn't be, please, Lord, let her have a meal ready. Please, Lord, let her have something around the house taken care of, especially if you're hours before I get home. That's respectfully, you're hours before I get home.
Wait, what is she doing during the day though? That's the issue. That's
She could be
wherein
working.
lies.
I don't care. She could be working. I don't care. I'm just saying, if you get home before me, now I could clean too. Let's not get it twisted. I hold my own. But if we're in a relationship,
That's the difference.
yeah, but
That's
I'm
the
saying,
difference. No, you're just saying, but that's the difference. You are not like regular men. Most men don't know how to cook. Most men would not think. Most men, hey, most men are not going to think ahead. Most men are not nurturers. You guys are protectors. We are nurturers. So we'll think about shit like that of like, maybe I'm home early. I'm going to cook my baby something to eat. Or maybe like I'll have dinner later on ready tonight, or I'll have something cute, whatever. Right. But men are providers and men are protectors. Think of it basic understanding of like how you guys think, right? Hunter gatherer.
Mm-hmm.
So I understand what you're saying, but now we're in an age where the women are also expected and have been hunters as well.
Oh,
and they're still expected to gather. That's the issue I have with that.
We're good now. Now we're touching some basics. I'm good with that, right? So now here's the issue that I fucking have, because I know women off the rip, you know what I'm saying, that has so many fucking relationship issues. I know some that was married 6, 7, 8 years, but still couldn't figure that shit out. A friend from high school still can't figure it out. A chick that had her husband and the whole family, but she's making over 100K, still can't figure it out. But this is my thing, the issue I personally have, because now it becomes a role reversal. Like you said, everything's up new. My mom's independent, got her own, retired. Bam, love you, mom. But these women today, a large amount of these women that's business owners, have their own careers, doing 16 hours plus, making over 80, 100K. If you're so much this and you're so much that, and you're the boss and you feel like this, that, third, okay. Do not get, if the roles reverse now and they're coming up just like the guys and they're happy the hunter gatherers too. Don't get upset when you can't figure out what's going on with your relationship. Because at 9 out of 10 times, traditionally, it's you, the woman, if you, the woman, is asking for a traditional relationship. And I'll throw a little caveat just to make this sweet the pot. The last serious relationship I was in, she loved to cook. She loved to clean. Okay, cool, great. That's a traditional guy. I like that. I just enjoy cooking. That was just my thing. So we put that have little value into our relationship. I cook, she clean. But respectfully, if I know, let's say if I'm home before her and I know, okay, well, she's gonna wash the dish, she's gonna do the dishes or whatever she's gonna do, and I know we got a weekend off, I just go beyond. It's like, you know what? Let me just get the dishes out the way, just have her a peace of mind. I know every once a week she washes the clothes, so let me just go ahead, just figure out. Because let me just get
that's a partnership.
Yeah, let me just get everything prepped and ready. So that's what I'm saying. So if the same thing should be on the other end. So if the woman making more, that
Absolutely.
means, hey, just like the guy, like real talk, like the guy. If I'm making
right,
80,
but the where we began this was that if you're home before me, it should be something that it should be ready.
Respectively.
That's again, that's not even like.
So
let
she
me
shouldn't
put
have
it
to do
this
it?
way.
She shouldn't have to do it.
No, if she's working and she's coming home too, hell no.
So how
tired.
How dishes and food gonna get cooked? How the house is gonna get clean? How
they do it together.
How we doing it together? If you're home 3 hours before me, it should got done.
No, it's all right. So you're saying if I'm home 3 hours before you, we both been working 16-hour days, we're both exhausted. You want me to make dinner and clean up. So what are you gonna do? You gonna kick back, relax?
It depends. No. I'm not saying that. I'm saying out of
That's
respect.
the narrative that hold on.
No.
That's the narrative that a lot of guys have. That's what I'm trying to clarify. You are not a lot of guys. So because
they're picking the women that's like automatically, and even before the, like I said, the vetting or getting to know that chick. Like I said, those little steps, like, hey, I know this chick clean, I know she cooks, bam, that's who I want. I'm saying if I know of this of you, let's figure this shit out together. So again, if I'm the one that likes to cook and you like to clean, now respectfully, I'm gonna do my due diligence. But respectfully, if I know I'm coming home 3 hours behind you, hey, the least you could do, just let me just take care of this real quick. It's not, again, if you
Yeah,
got
but
your
if
and if
that's
you got
but
your
if
house
that's
straight, if you got your house straightened up like your house supposed to be fucking tame, it's not gonna take 3 hours just to take care of the house. It's not gonna take an hour to cook a
100%.
meal. Okay, so that's what I'm saying. So you
But
come home,
hold up, let me get back.
go ahead, because I'm kind of heated on that one.
Who I know you are. Let's bring it back. Let's bring it back. Let's breathe. Let's breathe. Because it's I understand what you're saying, but the narrative, so what you're saying is if you already have something established, it should be if she's home 3 hours beforehand, she should be able to do something.
Respectfully.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But that's with the narrative that there's already a pre-negotiated partnership and that you
Yes.
guys are both doing your part. And that's what I'm trying to explain to you,
Yes.
because you are not normal. Most men are thinking, oh, we both have 16-hour days, but she's here before me. She should do it. And that's every day.
Okay, now
You're thinking like more equilibrium, or not equilibrium. You're more thinking of like what's common sense. And that's the difference. I'm trying to explain most men are not thinking what you're thinking on like it's common sense because you guys have a partnership. Just like you explained, you did the dishes, even though she usually cleaned. That's called a partnership. It's I got your back when you can't do it. Let me take care of these things because I know you're going through a lot. Hey, right now our
because she gets sick. Because if she gets sick and hurt, it's like who's gonna do it?
Right.
Who's gonna do it?
But that's the thing where what I'm trying to say is that a lot of the men that listen to this guy don't think like that. A lot of the men that idolize this man and think of him as like this grandiose thing full of wisdom, when he says things like that, they are automatically thinking it don't matter if she has money, it don't matter what she looks like, it doesn't matter if she works 16 20-hour days, I expect her to still cook and clean, I don't care. And that's where the women have an issue with it.
Hey, you know what? Damn, because I thought a third one. I'm not gonna bring it up because I know we'll be fighting. We'll leave this for the podcast Saturday. Now I'm gonna go piggyback on one thing you said, because you made a comment, and I'm gonna argue that one, because you said, what if we're both working 16-hour jobs? Okay, great. I understand that. But that's the guy and the girls, I'm gonna say it's their fucking fault, because you should be the ones try to, again, back to the vetting process. Again, depending on the situation, it could be the pandemic, it could be hey, we both trying to find careers of our own. You might want to be a doctor, lawyer. I'm trying to do this, so we're both on that grind together, because we like, hey, we set a time limit for ourselves. So while you're doing that, now here I'm with you. I'm with you.
I'm saying right. I'm going with you.
So on that one, it's like, now let's figure some shit out. Again, if we're both doing 16 hours, now if she's cool with that, hey, then you're cool with that. But if you're back to like, hey, that's what I say about guys. If your first forethought is like, hey, I want a woman, I'm looking for a wife to just do the because they could sit. I mean, back then it was the bare minimum, cooking and cleaning. But now you're saying, hey, the added bonus to that bare minimum is working long hours, raising the kids, doing all this extra stuff. I get that. So now if we're doing both 16 hours, and now if we're doing that, it got to be a conversation. Like, yo, what are we really doing? Because clearly nobody's gonna be washing clothes, nobody's doing it. So what we got to figure out what we're doing. So I'm with you on that.
Gotta go to the dry cleaner. The cleaning lady gotta come.
You need to know up front, when y'all especially men and women, when y'all start deciding these dumb shit, like these things that for yourselves to build and move forward, and y'all can sit back and like, yeah, remember that time we was working 16 hours? Man, we ain't get laid for like 2 months. Where the time went? Oh, I was busy working, taking a kid. Oh yeah, me too, 16 hours. So I get that. So, but you gotta have these conversations up front, like, yo, especially because most guys be like, well, I just thought you were gonna just do all the cooking, cleaning. Okay, so I'm gonna do 16 hours. Then you got this where it becomes spiteful women. And then let's just say longevity, something pops off, divorce comes, then that's the first thing she's gonna throw in her mouth. I was working 16 hours, I was taking care of all the kids, I cooked and cleaned, and what were you doing? I was working 16 hours, but you didn't do everything that I was doing too, so shut the F up, blah blah. So then become an issue. So I get it. So
I'll tell you this story. I was doing that with my ex. I was a spiteful woman, and it wasn't until like they always come back, and he was like,
shout out to spiteful women.
You were right. I needed you. I didn't know how to cook or clean or blah blah. I wasn't taking care of myself. But that's the thing where it's like, as women, you also have to vet during the dating process. Is this dude able to take care of himself? Is he eating right? Is he showering every day? Is he how does he treat his family? Is he nice to the waiter or the waitress? Because you're damn straight, if he's talking trash to the waiter or the waitress, he's going to treat you the same way. And it's the same thing for men. Like, well, and it's also this for women too. I think because I've been a part of that, and I've heard a lot of people talking about it, of like, there are times where it's like, as women, we expect men to still want to be horny and have sex, but the men are tired. But the men are tired, and like, they've worked all day, they're under stress, they're under all these things, and then on top of that, we're telling them, do this, this, and this, and this, and do this, and don't forget this, and don't forget that, and we're adding to that, and then we're like, why don't you want to fuck me? You know what I mean? And
I'm glad you did that, because that's like, you know what I'm saying, you're being fair to that side too.
I'm to both sides, because it's the same.
And you know what? You never when you said that, it had me think of the back in the Egyptian time, because that's what that was done to them. It was like extra harder labor, so they won't procreate, have babies, have sex, and he knew that. So he's like, let me put him so much to work, to so much labor, they just go home and just drop.
Oh my God. Yeah, so it's and that's what I'm saying. It's like a
that's why guys come up. That's why guys come up with that saying, like, yo, if it's yours, take it. If we're in bed, we sleep, take it. That's where we get that from. Like, yo, if I'm dead tired and you're in that mood, hey, take it. It's yours.
Yeah, that doesn't sound good at all. That sounds, as women, we hate that. But there has to be an understanding from the female side of understanding, like, I told you before, like, I don't really mess around because I am looking for a high valued man. A part of that is they're going to be a driven person, which means they're not always going to have time to go in my beck and call and like do all these things and go out to brunch on Sundays and all these things. So I have to be understanding of that, so that when that time comes, I'm not just sitting there like, you don't like me anymore.
Now I gotta play your card, because you're very good at this when we have these podcasts. So I gotta play a card of your book, because usually you define everything. No, because you do a good job of this, because you said high value man. So let me just ask you, what is your definition of high value man? I know we went over this many times. This is new content. So where do you, because you said it, usually when other people say stuff like that, you pretty much just make it a little bit more fair in the game with the debates and conversations. So what do you feel is a high value man?
For me personally, because I think everyone has their own personal identification of
for
high
you.
value
I mean, since you threw it out there, yeah.
Somebody that is motivated and driven, someone that is responsible, funny, has a sense of humor, can laugh at themselves, smart, has to be smarter than me.
So like, money's not on your first on the list?
Huh?
Money's not first on the list?
Nobody's on the first of the list?
Is money the first thing on the list to be a high value man for you?
No.
Okay. All right.
I'm an entrepreneur. Like money comes and goes. I've seen money come. I've seen money go. I've had all these different situations. I know money comes and goes. There's a saying that says behind every like successful man or something is a strong woman pushing him. And I really believe in that, because if you have someone that is really successful, right? And they're making a lot of money and they're stressed out and they're working, and let's say it's like a senator and they have multiple businesses and all these things. That man is in meetings after meetings. Who's taking care of the house? Who's taking care of the home? Who's taking care of the kids? Who's giving them nurturing, providing, feeding them, clothing them? Who's taking care of that husband when he's stressed out? Men are more emotional than women. They just don't know how to have those emotions, and they need women in order to be able to have a safe space to have that release. It's not just a sexual thing, it's an emotional intelligence. So a man needs to be able to trust a woman is going to say, I got you, don't worry about it. Like, tell them the right things to motivate them and get back out there. And that's the thing where I think it's confused a lot, where people have put this separation and they've created this illusion that unity is not actually a partnership, and that it's like, you do this and you do this. Like, I want a partnership. So what I look for is the qualifications and like the characteristics of a person.
Let me add something to that caveat, because you said a good thing. You said a lot of stuff you said about motivating the man, and a lot of women don't understand this. Like, guys, or I tell Mika this all the time. Guys are dumb. we're dumb. So stuff will go over our head so quick. So that's why we generally say, hey, we're not mind readers. Let us know. It might hurt us feelings in a second, but after that second, reality hits like this. And we're like,
But it's
okay,
also
cool.
how you say it.
But I'm getting to a point for the motivation part. You could do the simplest things. Just if again, if you're up before us, I know a good friend of mine, love her to death. She will get up before when she was dating this guy, and I was tripping like, yo, why you not married? She would get up before her man, make him breakfast, make him coffee if she's in the mood, you know, do her thing to him, make love to him. That's to me, that's a great day. You don't
Yeah.
know how much motivation a guy will have. This motherfucker will think he can move fucking mountains, flip cars, and it doesn't take that much out of woman's time. Just like, hey, let me get up before him. I got the whole day to myself. Let me go ahead and take care of business. You know what I'm saying? Or hey, we're getting up at the same time. He's going one way. I'm coming back. But he's passing by. Let me get coffee. And that's it. But I just want to leave it from there. Just to add a caveat to that.
But that's
Go
the
ahead.
problem. You just said it perfectly. You just asked him, why aren't you married yet? And that's where the issue in lies, where that woman, by doing all of those things, the problem is that because, let's say hypothetically, I don't know them,
Mhm.
right? But she doesn't get married, he cheats on her, he does something, he's not happy within himself. He then hurts that woman, and that woman does less in the next relationship, and
Yeah.
less in the next
Yeah.
relationship, and less. And that's where we are today, where so many women have gone through this. And it's even for me, it's hard for me where I am like, I'm really honest and vulnerable when we have these conversations, that like I have had to do a lot of work, and I'm still scared. I'm still scared. I'm going to do that again. I'm going to show up. I'm going to be that girl. I'm going to be motivating. I'm going to cook for them and do all this stuff. And I'm going to be shit on. And it's scary, but I need to, the problem is that most women think the alternative is like, now I'm going to get that bag. I'm going to date a sugar daddy. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I'm going to get my own money. And women don't, I hate to say it, but like, very rarely, because of the way that we have society anyways, very rarely do you find women that are actually working. I'm not going to say rarely, because that sounds like almost nothing, but it's not as many men that you see like 100 men over here that are working 16-hour days, reaching for their goals and their ambitions and
Mhm.
everything by themselves. You'll see like 60 or 70 women doing that same thing. So it's not the same. And so not the majority, but a lot of women will go the simpler, softer, easier route. And then they get all messed up, and it's so hard to come back from that. Like I
Yeah.
only have one girlfriend of mine that was a stripper for a long time, and she was going to school to become an RN. She was a
Shout out to the
single
pole
mom.
dancers.
She was a single mom, and like the stories that she told me, like over the course of a couple of years of our friendship, she finally left dancing and was grinding, but she was exhausted, she was overworked, she didn't have a social life, she was tired, she was unhappy. She was happy like dignity wise, and she felt that, but she was unhappy with how hard everything was, and she ended up going back to it. And that's the part where it's like, you really got to be about it. And that's why I say there's a difference between, I don't count money into high value, because that comes and goes. What does happen is, if that woman would have found a dude that was like with her and rolled with her and been like, you can do it, I got you, like you can move in with me, we'll make it work, just don't go back to that, I guarantee you she wouldn't have gone back to that. I guarantee you. But it's on both sides. We need to be more supportive and loving and understanding. Like the question that we brought up about it was like, how much sex should someone like expect? The reality is that idea that men have of like women should, and I'm not saying all men,
Mhm.
but what he just said was that it should be anytime he wants. That creates such a hard thing of like, so there, I can't tell you a single female that I know, hardly any females that I know, that have not reported saying that I didn't consent, but I didn't say no. I didn't want to, but I did it
Okay.
anyways, because I'm scared that he would leave me. And that's the narrative that he's creating unknowingly. I don't think he's doing it on purpose.
Yeah,
But like,
he's generalizing of a question that she asked.
and he's
I
and
get it.
he's and I get where he's coming from, but like the reality is just like men are tired sometimes and not in the mood, like so are women. Like what, on Sunday or Saturday, you, myself, and Poppy were having a live. We're doing a reaction to something, right? And I was like, it has been so long, blah 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 blah. Well, my neighbor lady died yesterday. She was a really close friend of mine. Not interested in doing that at all now. Not whatsoever. Like that feeling of wanting that, totally gone.
Yeah.
So it goes on both sides. You can't just say whenever he wants. Like that's just, it's a double standard. It's ridiculous, and it causes a lot of issues if you're really seeing it that way.
I feel you. I'm not gonna even we'll touch more bases on this because what I want to do is because it's pretty much about to wrap up at the ending with this, and when we're done, I want to actually do a live and we'll have a discussion about this so we have more perspective. You know what I'm saying? Because I know me and you, we talk a lot and we pretty much, you know, whether, and it's a good thing because I like when positively button heads, if that makes sense. But I want to see what everybody else has to say about it when we do a live. So again, guys, check us out this Saturday, 7 p.m. Central Time, where we'll go live and we'll have a discussion about this, open door discussion, and see where it goes from there. So we're gonna try to wrap this up.
Most guys I'm talking to are working 10, 12-hour days. Bernie Mac said it. I'm gonna come home and give you 50 strokes. You count them if you ain't got time. Most people trying to walk around like they porn stars. Look here, man. Get good at foreplay, eat some pussy, and get on. Because we gonna have all that time. We get old, our back hurt, our hips out.
Yeah, man.
Oh no.
When you get older, but I think
you're like, oh no.
I think a happy sex life 2 to 3 times a week is what most people are doing because they got kids.
Yes, no, I understand.
But when you're single, no kids, whenever you want to.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
she's like, I don't know about that.
No, I understand because yes, things change when you have to be looking at your baby and a lot of I get it. I totally get it. But let me ask you something.
I liked it.
Do men really want? Because I was having this discussion 2 days ago. Do men really want a woman to be all up under them? Oh, baby, hi, yeah, ooh, or do they just say they want that, and when they want that, and when they get it, they be like, because I feel like me being mean is what, yeah.
The late great Patrice O'Neal said it the best. We want you around, but not around. He made a comedy bit where he said, we want you in the house, kind of like around the corner in the vent somewhere. We kind of want you to be like a cat. You call a cat's name, hey, babe. Okay, you there, cool. We just want to know you in touching distance. That's really all we were, because we really.
And I feel like.
Hold up, did you get that? The point he's
Yeah.
trying to make with that? Okay. I just want to make sure.
I'm like a man. I feel like I'm, a lot of people throughout my life would tell me that I'm like a man. Because I remember people would tell me I shouldn't expect as a woman to have a climax every time I do it, right? Hilton. And I said, excuse me, are you out of your fucking mind? Why wouldn't I want to climax every time I have intercourse? Just like you want to climax when you have intercourse. And I was accused of being like a man. Not in my, this is years ago. And I knew that wasn't gonna work, child. Because it's not only about you.
Well,
What do you think about that?
Well, so when I go to LA, I'll be talking to sexologists. Shambu Dream, Shambooty. There's a lot that men don't understand about sexuality. Most guys, you ask them what the conversation is, they don't know what it is. They don't know anything about tantric sex. They don't even know that. You couldn't even show them the anatomy of a vagina.
Hell, that ain't foreplay.
Just want to talk. So, if you know what you're doing, you should have as much orgasm. You should. You're multi-orgasmic. You can have more than we can.
That's right.
So the point is that I think that was part of the purpose of going down there, to have this conversation, because women's sexuality is so misunderstood by men. So a lot of guys make comments about women and not knowing, and they make decisions based on women. And I say ultimately this: if you ain't getting married, what the fuck you care about a woman's body count and who she fucking with? If you ain't gonna take ownership of it, and if it's yours, you need to learn what to do.
Facts.
Because yeah.
Well, if I was a man, I would still care about who a woman is fucking. Just
Safety. As long as it's clean. I'm talking about. There are guys who worry about things. Here's the thing: there's ownership, and then there's dating. We do a lot to disqualify one another, and we got enough stuff already disqualifying us.
Oh, right, to put women down.
Yeah, I mean, or to discount men too. And I'm like, well, in the context of a relationship, it's different than people who are out here just hooking up. If you're gonna just be out here hooking up, you need to be. I would assume you would want to have a good sexual reputation. You want to be a dead layer or a weak fuck. That's not a good look.
No.
See, people are like, I'm so lost.
No, I'm not lost.
No, I'm talking about people in the
I want to put it on. I want to put it on a person. I don't
give
a shit.
Yeah, that's what I want.
Yeah, I seen the video. I heard what were you talking about? The blood. What is a blood? What is that?
Blood clot.
I'm serious. I know. What is that?
No, it's just a term that my family, my Jamaican people who I love very much, it's just a curse word that they use. Like with a blood clot, you deal with pussy. You understand? So that.
All right, I've heard that before. I'm like, I don't know if it's a curse word or what. All right, cool.
Shame on him.
Well, good to be on here with you. You got any other questions? Because I gotta get packed.
He pretty much cut out there. Then he, they say their goodbyes and make a plan for a month or two after that to meet up. But yeah, man. What do you think? I enjoyed that conversation.
I enjoyed it. It was enlightening, and I'm gonna have to watch some Kevin Samuels videos because
in full context, no clips.
yeah, full context, because he's saying some things that I actually really agree with, and I think if he's doing it the way that he says he's doing it, that's actually really, really good, because I really think it comes down to oh God, you know what? A number one thing I think for a high value man for me is right and wrong, moral standards.
Yeah, it's to me. I agree with that. It's their character. Yeah. You just don't lead with money. You don't. If you're making 80, 100K, millions, like, oh, my value. It's not about the money. It's about just your character, your status, or just people around. It's everything in a whole. But if you don't have don't have the money, it's just like you being a good person, just being like I had people tell me like, well, gave me certain nicknames I didn't expect to even be had. You know what I'm saying? I heard somebody say, hey, what's going on, King, or stuff like that, or hey, what's up this, or what's up that, and it was a title, and I tried to hold up to it. And it's just being a self-proclaiming leader, you know what I'm saying, without you knowing that you have followers, if that makes sense. Like, you can be a leader just your character alone. I know a buddy at work, a lot of guys wanted him to take this position that's higher authority, and he just like, I don't want it. And I say, just the fact you don't want it, just the fact that you do this, just the fact your character are surrounding of them thinking of you first, that's what makes you a good leader. That's high value. That's high value.